What is the fastest way to prepare for your PMP exam? Let's learn that in this video. So generally, for most candidates who prepare for the PMP exam via self-study, it has been seen that it typically takes about 4 to 6 weeks to prepare for the exam, okay? However, as part of this video, I'm going to provide you with 3 strategies which you can start applying right from today to cut down your PMP exam preparation time by more than 80%. I mean, I'm really confident that if you already have fair enough experience in project management, and provided you will be sincerely applying these strategies that you will learn as part of this video, you will be able to get ready for your PMP exam within 2 to 3 weeks from now. And all the tips that I'm going to share with you today are perfectly aligned with the current updated version of the PMP exam in its PMBOK 8th edition. So make sure you watch this video till the end, because skipping even one of these strategies means that you will only capture half of it, improvise on the other half, and then end up confusing yourself even more, okay? So please listen carefully and let's get into it. So the first strategy, and this is the one most candidates get wrong from day one, is this. They start their PMP exam preparation with the PMBOK itself, without a textbook or an online course. Now with the PMBOK 8th edition, this mistake is actually easier to make than before, okay? Because PMI has split the standard into 2 separate books, the Standard of Project Management and the PMBOK Guide. And these 2 books could be often misunderstood as textbooks. So if you start reading these books from the day 1 of your exam preparation, here is what typically will happen, okay? You will come across new terms, new concepts. You will start Googling them, or let's say ChatGPTing them, okay? You go back and then you realize that the content is quite dense and reference style, not built for someone learning the subject from scratch, okay? And you go back to ChatGPT again, or maybe Google, and you come back to the PMBOK again. And this back and forth between the PMBOK and your textbooks or the reference materials creates a lot of delay in your exam preparation. And that's quite intuitive, right? The reason being that PMBOK is a standard, okay? And it's meant to be a practice aid, not a foundation building tool, right? So what should you do instead? So you should start with a structured, exam-focused course or textbook that walks you through the PMBOK 8th edition syllabus in a logical, beginner-friendly sequence. As simple as that. It can be any standard project management textbook from the market, or a 35 PDU course from an education provider, whichever suits you the best. Focus on building the basics first, okay? And that should be done from a study material which you trust. Now, if you like my teaching style, you can use my PMP exam 35 PDU masterclass on Udemy for that purpose. It's a self-paced course that takes you through the entire updated syllabus of the PMP exam step by step, and once you complete it, you will find that going back to the PMBOK 8th edition becomes much faster and easier. The course also covers your mandatory 35 contact hours, which is one of your eligibility criteria for the PMP exam. So you would be ticking 2 boxes at once you have completed the course. Now, once you have built that foundation, there is a second mistake that slows candidates down just as much, okay? And it's tied to a myth that's quite omnipresent across PMP exam candidates. And that is believing that solving 1,000 practice questions is what gets you through the PMP exam. Now, this myth has been around for years, okay? And honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons candidates burn through their preparation time without actually getting ready for the exam. So here is why this happens, right? A lot of candidates, especially in the early days of their exam preparation, assume that they already know enough project management from their job, and that's the reason they can straight away jump into solving questions from day one. However, on the other side of the spectrum, the PMP exam is designed to test judgment, test application, and test your adherence to the PMBOK 8th edition, okay? So it's not testing, unfortunately, how good a PM you are in your actual job. And interestingly, this hasn't changed with the PMBOK 8th edition transition either. In fact, with roughly 70 to 80% of the syllabus carried over from the PMBOK 7th edition to the PMBOK 8th edition now, the exam is still designed to catch candidates out who skip the fundamentals and jump straight into question banks. Think about it, right? If solving 1,000 random questions across YouTube and Udemy was enough to pass the exam, the PMP certification wouldn't hold the value it does in the industry today, right? So instead, here is what actually works. Complete your syllabus thoroughly first using the study materials as we have discussed previously. Then you start solving chapter end questions to reinforce each topic, okay? And when you write the mock exams after you have solved the chapter end questions, write only 3 to 4 high quality, updated, reputed mocks and genuinely analyze every single question and answer response of yours, okay? Irrespective of getting it right or wrong in the mock exam. That's it. That's genuinely all you need, and it's nowhere close to solve 1,000 questions, right? I mean, a quality curated set of about 300 to 400 questions for your PMP exam mocks is more than enough, okay? Now, there is one more strategy left to speed you up for your PMP exam preparation, and honestly, this is the one that accelerates your learning more than anything else in this list as we have discussed. So let's get into it now. So the third strategy, and this is the one that genuinely accelerates and brings everything else together on this list, is to actively connect what you are studying with your real professional experience. Now, if you are preparing for the PMP exam and you are already a project manager, chances are that you are working on live projects in the industry, or let's say you might have held that role at some point in your career, right? So it is a very, very important consideration to use that experience to your advantage. Let me give you an example from my own career, right? When I was leading projects whilst I was studying for the PMP exam, stakeholder conflict was something I was dealing with constantly. Different teams, different priorities, different urgency levels, okay? Now, when I later studied conflict management in the PMBOK way, it wasn't really very abstract to me, right? I could literally map the theory directly onto situations which I have already lived through. And that's what made it stick as part of my learning. So here is what I want you to do, okay? As you work through each of the sections in your PMBOK 8th edition, whether that's stakeholder performance, planning, or delivery, or sort of project life cycle, pause and ask yourself, where have I seen this play out in my own projects in real life, okay? So if you are studying backlog refinement, actually run a backlog refinement session with your agile team, right? You don't need the certification in hand to apply the principles. This one habit alone will cut down your revision time dramatically, okay? Because you are not memorizing anymore. You are recognizing patterns you have already lived through, and you have applied them in real life, right? And this kind of experiential learning is the ones that stick with you for ages, not even only for the PMP exam. So those are the 3 strategies which you can start applying from today to definitely see a visible improvement in the pace of your exam preparation. And these strategies has been tested across hundreds of students whom I have coached personally for the PMP exam. And as you see from the reviews, they have passed their exam with stellar results. So these strategies do work, okay? Provided you are sincere, you are willing to learn, and you are willing to adapt to new learning styles. I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a like and I'll see you in the next one.